Hello everybody. So today I'm going to be going over the next project. I also included in this folder a PowerPoint that includes a bunch of examples of this project, but this is the example that I made. And I'm just going to walk you through the steps on how to do this. I know this looks like a lot to start out with, but I promise you it's super easy. So yeah, let's get started. All right, so what you're gonna need is you are gonna need a blank piece of printer paper or some type of blank paper. Again, with the lined paper, if that's all you have, that's okay. I would prefer you to use just printer paper though, because this really is a neat project. And it looks really nice on the blank paper. So I have my steps over here. I'm going to be referring to. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to draw a squiggly line, and you're going to do it lightly, okay? You don't want to be bearing down too hard with your pencil, or otherwise you're going to try to erase some parts later, and it's going to be really difficult because you drew too dark. So what I'm going to do is you really want to try to take up as much of the paper as you can. So I'm just going to go crazy and draw a crazy squiggly line like that. And see how it takes up most of my paper. It's a pretty large squiggly line. You don't want to make it super small on your paper. You want to fill up most of your paper. What you're going to do after you get your squiggly line done is, if you look at my example right here, I did a squiggly line too. This one actually looks pretty similar to this one over here. That just must be my type of squiggly line I like to make. But if you look, it's thicker, so there's two lines really. So we have to make our line look like that. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna come here at the top, usually I start at the top, and you're just gonna draw another line going right next to it. And it's okay if like that just happened. If you can see that, I'll zoom in. All right, if you see this part right here, I kind of went over another part of my line. That's okay. I'm okay with that because we're going to erase that later. So I'm going to continue. So if you want to make it kind of come up like that and go over your other lines, that's okay. All right, and I think that looks pretty good to me. So I'm going to go ahead and go back and erase the parts where my line went over another line. And once I do that, I'll zoom in again. If you look, it makes it look like this is in front of this. And that's what I want. I want to see that. I want to see that you're able to do that, able to put some things in front of other things. So I'm going to do it again down here. I'm going to put this part in front of this part right here, which I also did over here, which is so funny. I didn't mean to almost make the exact same line. But that looks pretty good to me. So now I got a double squiggly line, which is your goal. All right, so now I've got my double squiggly line. And you do not have to make yours like this. I really hope y'all go look at the examples. There's some really cool ones on there. Some of them just do this the whole time. I'll flip it over. Some of them go like this. You know, if you want to do that kind of thing. If you want to do that kind of thing. You really can go wild with the squiggly line. Please don't think you just have to do it this way, because you don't have to. You can do it this way. There's tons of ways you can do it. Let me get another piece of paper here real quick. If you want to make your line going the other way, if you want to do it this way and just kind of come around and go all the way around and then loop back and make it do like that. You can do that as well. That's fine. But for right now, I think I'm going to keep the one that I made. Okay, so now I have my squiggly line. I've erased my extra lines, which was step number 2. So draw your squiggly line lightly. I've erased my extra lines. And now you're going to color in your squiggly line. I would like for you to color this in first. I did mine all the colors of the rainbow. On the examples, there's only one colored in. I want everyone to have some color on their paper just because I think it looks better. And you can use any colors you want. You don't have to do all these colors. If you like blue, look, I've got some light blue and a dark blue and another type of blue. I could just do all different types of blue and come in here and start coloring it in. Now, when you're coloring your line, you know how I'm always saying color in the same direction. if I were you guys, what I would do is I would color in the same direction as your squiggly line. So for instance, right here, I would kind of go around this loop with my coloring. I would kind of go the same way. So it might take you a little bit longer to color your squiggly line than other things, but that's okay. Just take your time on it. You are going to have a few extra days to work on this because it might take you a little longer, but I really would like to see some nice, neat, loopy coloring on this that kind of follows your squiggly line. So I'm going to do right here so you can see. There you go. So if you see that, my coloring goes whoop, and then it's going to go all the way around, and it's going to kind of follow the squiggles. All right. If you would like to do, as I did here in the example, the example on the PowerPoint has this as well, the one with color in it. You can go on the bottom or choose one side of your squiggly line to kind of be your shaded side. And all you do is you grab any darker color that you have. Usually I grab dark blue or purple. Over here I use dark purple all the way down. And it just kind of makes a nice shadow for you. You don't have to do this step, but I do think it makes it look nice if you want to kind of shade on the bottom. But you're going to get all of that filled in, so you're going to color all through there. You'll do a better job than that. I hope you guys are actually listening to all these videos too, because I've seen some people kind of just stop a drawing like at this point, rather than doing the whole thing like this. So I hope you understand, like, this is me showing you what to do. I don't want your project to look like this. I want it to look something similar to this, but you doing your own thing. All right, so once you get your whole squiggly line colored in, the next step, let me look here at my list so I don't forget. So I've erased all my squiggly lines, I've colored in my squiggly line, and now you get to use pens or markers or whatever you have on hand to create patterns, okay? So over here in my example, I used Sharpie. I used this type of Sharpie, just like a regular Sharpie. These work really well for making patterns. I also used a big Sharpie like this. If you don't have a Sharpie, that's okay. It's okay. Don't stress about going and getting a Sharpie. You can use a pen like this. I used my pen over here a little bit. If you have colored pens like this or something similar, you can use those. If you don't have any pens at all, use a black colored pencil. Okay, just use a black colored pencil or another type of pencil. However, if you have markers, I do think this does look really nice with markers and pens and the colored pencil. I just like how it all kind of comes together. So I'm just going to grab my Sharpie. And what you're going to do is, if you look over here, I just went in between. Ooh, that Sharpie is not that good. Let's try another Sharpie. That one's not good either. All right, I guess I'll just have to use my big one. But what you're gonna do is you're gonna come in here and start creating patterns. So that can be anything, you guys. A pattern can be a bunch of circles, little triangles, squares, rectangles, little random shapes like this. Anything you really want. And then you can color in sections. If you look over here, you notice that I colored in some of my sections. If you want to go back later and add some color every now and again, you can. Don't color in the whole thing though. But yeah, just keep creating patterns. And pretty much your goal is to fill in the spaces in between your loops. So if you look over here, there's patterns in here, patterns all in here, patterns through here. You don't have to fill up your whole paper with patterns, but I would say I would like 80 to 90% of your paper filled. Okay, so come over here, maybe I put some circles through here, whatever you like. If you want to create some big shapes like I did, you can do several things. You can make big circles. You can do flowers. If you want to do a flower, like you can come over here and make a flower like that. And then that gives you a really nice opportunity to kind of build upon that. So like, let's say I wanted to outline my flower like that. There's another pattern. If I want to go around my flower with circles, I can. There's another pattern. But basically what you want to fill in as many patterns as you can, or as many different patterns as you can, using whatever pens that you have. And then afterwards, if you would like to do like this and come back and put some color in your patterns, you can. You don't have to do that though. I just thought that this looked nice. But yeah, you do want to come in here and fill in all the spaces. So like this space right here would have pattern. This space right here would have pattern, pattern right here, 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 here. Right here, definitely, maybe here. So just kind of all in that squiggly line. All right, I'm going to take this away. And I'm going to go over the project requirements really quick. And then I think I'm going to wrap it up. So the project requirements for this project are you must color in the same direction, which I know on this is a little different. You're kind of following the loop with your coloring, but as long as you do that, you should be good in this department. I just don't want to see the horrid, coloring this way and then coloring the exact opposite way. Again, don't do that. A variety of patterns. Please don't just pick one pattern and fill in all these areas with just that. If you look at my example, there's tons of patterns on here. I use different circles, different types of swirls, lines, all different types of patterns. You need your squiggly line colored in, and the rest needs to be in pen or marker, preferably black. But if you only have colored Sharpies or something like that, that's okay too. I'm grading you on your neatness. No torn or crumpled paper. I've had several people submit pictures where their paper's all crumpled up like this, or it's torn and they tried to put it back together. Try to keep your paper as neat as possible, okay? When you come to art class, I don't accept any work that's all crumpled or torn like that. So please don't do it at home, because here in class, I don't let you do that either. And then it must take up 80 to 90% of your paper, okay? I have had some projects, for instance, the shoe project. I had about 1 or 2 students submit it, and it was like this big. Like the shoe was literally this big. You want to fill up your whole paper. Fill up the whole paper, okay? And that's what makes it look like a finished piece of artwork, is that it's filling up the whole page. All right, so you must take up 80 to 90%, because if you look over here, I do have some white spaces, but it's nothing too crazy, okay? So I hope I answered all your questions. If I didn't, please email me, and I will email you back as soon as possible. All right, I'm looking forward to seeing your projects, and please let me know if you have any questions.